Welcome everyone back to our virtual classroom. It is Wednesday if you are A group or Thursday if it's B group. Okay? Hope you guys are all having a great day. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Today you guys are going to be learning a little bit from a book called My Brother Sam is Dead. It's an excellent novel. If you ever want to read it, let me know. I made sure we're going to get a few copies in at the library. Okay? You can go ahead and open up your slides. They're going to look like this. Our agenda for today, obviously, if you haven't yet, pause the video now and go ahead and go to attendance now. Please do not forget about attendance. Also, if you're in the online crew, show up for class. Okay, it's really important you show up for class. All right, we got our slides open. Go ahead. The next slide will be your interactive notebook. You can go ahead and pause the video and fill that out when we get there. Don't worry, I'll show you in just a second. Then we're going to do some student CER analysis, a student CER from last year. I think you guys will find it very interesting and very helpful. Our earlier CER this year and kind of that practice we did with evidence and reasoning was very telling. Clearly, we need to do some more about learning how to do a CER. Okay? You guys will be using the CER rubric. I'll show you what that looks like. And then you guys will have to do some marking the text. It'll be very straightforward. And that'll be all for today. Okay? So let's go ahead and move forward. All right. Here is the notebook portion for today. Like I said, you guys can just pause the video. If you need a 5-minute timer to help you out, it's right there for you. No vocab for this day. Our learning target for today, I will analyze Sam's life to infer whether war has a positive or a negative impact on society in a CER. Don't worry, you're going to be writing the CER tomorrow. Today is the prep work for it. You're in for today. If there was a war happening in Colorado right now, how do you think your life would be affected? Please go ahead and make sure you take some time to do that. The date today will either be October 30th for those of you in A group, and it'll be, or not October 30th, pardon me, September 30th. And if you're in B group, it'll be October 1st. There we go. That's the correct dates. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and do your notebook. Welcome back. I hope you have your notebook done. If not, make sure you get it done before moving on. But we're going to go ahead and continue forward. All right, so your CER analysis. Okay, so in just a second, we're going to open up the CER rubric. Okay, there's a rubric that you guys should know pretty well by the end of this year. We're going to get acquainted with it right now. So as you use this rubric, you're going to have to read through it and answer these 3 questions in that classwork section of your notebook. Okay, according to the rubric, what makes a good claim? According to the rubric, what makes good evidence? And then according to the rubric, what makes good reasoning? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and click that link and it'll open it up. You guys should get something that looks like this. Just give you a little guide on how to read the rubric. Okay, to get that 4 on a claim, that'll be in the advanced command column. Okay, that's over here on the left. That grade level, okay, if you're performing at 8th grade level, that'll be 3 points. That's this column here. All right, if we're not quite at grade level, but getting close, okay, that'll be approaching command. That'll be this column right here, this one. And lastly, if you've written something, but it's not very close to grade level at all, that'll be limited command. And obviously, if you don't write anything, that'll be no evidence. Okay, so that's kind of how the point system works. So when we're looking for a good claim, we're looking at 3 and 4s. That'll be over here. When we're looking at good evidence, that'll be 3 and 4s right here. And lastly, when we're looking at reasoning, that'll be 3 and 4s right here. Okay, so make sure you're reading over that. The rest of the rubric will be for that second piece of evidence and that second reasoning to go with that second piece of evidence. Okay, so take your time, read through that, and write in your notebook what is going to make a good claim, what is good evidence, and what is good reasoning. All right, you can go ahead and pause the video here, and when you're done analyzing those things and answering those questions in your notebook, these questions right here, you can go ahead and return to the video. All right, welcome back. We're going to go ahead and continue moving on. Okay, so you guys kind of already answered this, but I want to go through this and give you some notes on how to make an excellent claim. Okay, you should strongly present your position on the topic. Okay, so don't just be like, I think, maybe, in my opinion. No, you want to make it a strong answer. You want to sound sure when you say your answer. So you go, this is the way it is. Okay? If the question is, why are the Packers better than the Vikings? Because I'm a Packers fan. I can be like, the Packers are better than the Vikings because they have 4 Super Bowl wins and the Vikings have 0 Super Bowl wins. Okay? Or I could just summarize that as the Packers have more Super Bowl wins than the Vikings. There you go. Very strong statement. Okay? When you're answering the claim, make sure to restate the question and answer it. So, for example, why are the Packers better than the Vikings? Okay, I would say the Packers are better than the Vikings. I'm restating that question, and then I would answer it because they have more Super Bowl wins. Okay, and then lastly, when we're writing CERs, there should be no personal pronouns and no weakness in our claim. So don't put I or think or maybe or you or it or we. Okay? You want to state your claim as a fact, not an opinion. The reason you're saying it's a fact is because you're going to back it up with evidence. All right? All right, we're going to move on to what makes excellent evidence. All right? So, first and foremost, when you're providing or citing evidence, it should answer this question. What do the sources say to support your claim? You have to be finding evidence from the sources provided. It can't be something you just thought of. It has to be from a text, a video, whatever source we're using that day, you need to find evidence there. Okay? Once again, you can only write what the sources say. So first, use direct quotes. You should have quotations around a quote from the text. Do not use inferences. Okay, you can't be like, well, I think the text was saying this. No, if the text doesn't have those actual words, don't quote it. Make sure it's an actual quote. 2, introduce the quote with evidence-based terms. Okay, look, you guys can look over to the right. There's some examples here. I would write these down. Okay, according to, you could name the author. According to Thomas Jefferson, quote. Okay, or you could say, furthermore, in the reading on the Revolutionary War, it says. Okay, so name that source that you're citing. Okay, or you could say, additionally, Benjamin Franklin describes the Revolutionary War by saying, so forth. Make sure you are using those evidence-based terms to introduce your evidence. Okay, if you just make your claim and then go, quote, that doesn't tell me much. Okay, you got to introduce that quote, make it so it seems readable and flows within the CER paragraph. All right. Third, do not include an explanation of your evidence in the same sentence as the quote. Okay, so don't go, quote, because blah 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 blah. No, your reasoning should be at least 1, if not 2, separate sentences from your quote. Okay, you have to make a transition from one to the next. All right, let's go ahead and move on. What makes excellent reasoning? Okay, by the way, if at any point in time you need to pause to take some notes, that is totally fine. Please do so. All right, so next, let me back that up. When you're doing reasoning, okay, you need to be thinking about this question. How does your evidence support your claim? Okay, when you're doing reasoning, you are explaining how your evidence relates to your claim. So number 1, explain what your evidence means. This should be the first half of your reasoning sentence or maybe the first sentence of your reasoning. Okay? Why should I consider this good evidence? Why should the reader, me, okay, the person reading your CER, consider the evidence you picked good evidence? Tell me what the evidence means. Second, you should connect your evidence back to your claim. How does this evidence support your claim? So the first part is explaining the evidence. Why do I know it should even count as evidence? And 2, how does it connect or relate to your claim? Okay? Lastly, make sure you are using evidence-based terms. Once again, your reasoning may be more than 1 sentence. Okay, maybe 2, even possibly 3. There should be at least 1 or 2, though. No, 1 will be a full sentence. Okay? Now, here's some evidence-based terms to help you out. They're over here on the right. You can write these down in your notebook if you would like. That will probably be good for you later on. Okay, so you can say the evidence above reveals that, okay, the Packers are better than the Vikings by showing how many Super Bowls exactly the Packers have and how many Super Bowls exactly the Vikings have, which, by the way, it's 4 and 0. Okay, another way you could say whoever the author was, the book or the source by Thomas Jefferson emphasizes the positive impact of conflict by ... Or you could say these facts work together to build a case that proves the Packers are better than the Vikings because as far as Super Bowl trophies go, they have more. Okay, that kind of thing. See how we're saying like the evidence? Okay, it proves this because of these reasons, and that reason connected it back to that claim of having more Super Bowls. Okay? All right, continuing on. Now, you guys are going to analyze a real CDR. Okay? There's a document attached in Google Classroom for today's assignment called Student CER Analysis. We're going to open that in just a second. We need to make sure we read the directions to analyze and grade the student example CER. Make sure to use the rubric as a reference for your grading. I should say your. Let me fix that as we transition here. Okay, now we're going to jump back into Google Classroom. You guys will probably have your name in front of this. Excuse me, because I created a copy for each of you, but it is the Google Doc attached for today. Go ahead and open that up. All right. Promise it's not as long as you think it is. So our directions. We're going to read the question and student CER example response below. After reading the response, answer the following analysis questions about the claim, evidence, and reasoning portions of the response. Make sure to reference the rubric. Lastly, after answering the analysis questions, grade the student example with the rubric. Okay, so this CER is based around the question, what impact does war have on society? That's the question they're answering. By the way, it's going to be the question you guys are answering tomorrow. Just a hint. We're not going to use any of these sources, though, so you can't copy and paste. Too smart for that. Good try, though. Okay, so student response, you guys can read through this. You'll need to make sure to identify where the claim is, where evidence 1 is, where the reasoning is, where the second evidence is, and where the second reasoning is. Okay? Then you'll come down here. For the claim, tell me what did they do well, what could be better. For evidence, tell me what did they do well, what could be better. If you're not sure, look at the rubric. According to the rubric, what did they do well? According to the rubric, what did they not do so well? Okay? And do the same for the reasoning as well. Once you've done all of that, go through and grade them. How'd they do? According to the rubric, what would you give them on the claim? What would you give them on the evidence? What would you give them on the reasoning, the evidence, and the reasoning? Okay? Just to clarify, evidence 1, the reasoning for that evidence follows right after it. And for evidence 2, the reasoning follows right after that quote. Okay? All right, once you finish that, go ahead and turn in. If you want, you can pause the video now and return for the last little bit of today. All right, welcome back. The last thing we're going to do, other than our out, of course, we're going to read an excerpt. It is a very short excerpt. I know you guys have done a lot today. I promise this one's not very long. Okay, from the novel My Brother Sam is Dead. It's about the Revolutionary War. It is fantastic. Once again, if you would like to read it, there will be some in the copies in the library soon. Okay, so as you guys read, mark the text according to today's guiding question. What impact does war have on society? Finish marking the text before tomorrow's class. It's really important you guys get this done before tomorrow's class. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at it. It's going to be the PDF attached in your assignment, and it will have your name in front of it because I assigned a copy to each of you. Go ahead and open it up, and then click Annotate with Cami. As soon as it loads, maybe we're missing our question. Where'd our question go? Give it a second. It's up here. Anyways, the guiding question is, how does war affect society and its citizens? Okay, you will be able to edit in the document once you have it. And so read for it, answer that question, and once you're finished, you guys can click turn in, and then go ahead and do your out. Go ahead and take a look at that real quick. Okay, this is a hint. If you do this out, you'll be ahead for tomorrow. Okay, so based on Sam's experience, does war have a positive or negative impact on society and its citizens? You guys let me know what you think. Okay, that is all for today. As always, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a great rest of your day. If you have any questions, please reach out to me or Mr. Hallway. Bye.